Is an electric Cobra good? 2, are electric classic sports cars good? And 3, should you give Scorpion EV $185,000 for one of these? Folks, as someone who not only drives a lot, but also owns several vehicles, I can tell you that one of my biggest pet peeves in motoring is going to the DMV and dealing with registrations, titles, and paperwork. And that is why I am so happy to welcome the sponsor of today's video, eTags. It is exactly what it sounds like, an online service to handle the registration, renewal, and transfer of vehicles. And notice I say vehicles, not just cars, because they can do cars, trucks, RVs, motorcycles, boats, anything with wheels. eTags can handle. You can use it from a computer, a tablet, or even a phone, fill out documents digitally, and receive temporary registration documents digitally without setting foot in the DMV. That process stinks, waiting online, waiting for them to call your number. Maybe you're missing one little piece of paper or one signature, and you got to start that process over again. Exit that ecosystem, folks, with eTags. They have over 375,000 five-star reviews on Google. It's easy, it's straightforward, and it's all done from the comfort of your couch, your desk, somewhere outside the DMV. That's what it's all about. And we've got a special eTags discount for the Smoking Tire viewers. Hit the link in the description or go to etags.com/TheSmokingTire to get a special discount of $5 off all registration renewals and $10 off all title transfers. And thanks to eTags for sponsoring today's video. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to a pretty warm day up on the hill with a very interesting vehicle. This looks like a Cobra, goes like a Cobra, is not a Cobra. This is called the Scorpion EV, and it has a Tesla battery pack from a Model S, has a Tesla motor at the back. It weighs 2,680 pounds, and it has 600 horsepower and 687 pound-feet of torque. It has a better weight distribution than an original Cobra because they can place some batteries in the front and some batteries in the back, 50-50. The basic chassis and body are from Factory 5, although they have both been modified a little bit to accommodate the electric motors and the electric battery packs. Certain things about the interior are familiar, like the seats, the doors, the windshield, and the basic shape of the steering wheel. Other things totally unfamiliar, like an LCD screen here, like the fact that the holes in the steering wheel have been filled with buttons, and that's actually very cool. You've got shifter buttons here, D, R, and N. You've got blinker buttons here. You've got hazards. You've got a horn. Oh, H is for high beams, not horn. The horn indicator is for horn there. And a USB port, electronic parking brake, and cup holders. There are only 2 pedals in this car, and let's see how it goes. You can dial up or down the power as low as 40 horsepower or as high as 600. I've asked them for the full beans. You can also dial up and down the regen. You can dial up and down a variety of metrics using the app, and you can monitor the health of the vehicle using the app. But I really want to answer a couple questions. 1, is an electric Cobra good? 2, are electric classic sports cars good? And 3, should you give Scorpion EV $185,000 for one of these? Right, here we go. Already very weird. But the torque is real. The torque is very real. My first question was going to be, how do they handle the NVH? That's the noise, vibration, and harshness. Because these cars were already kind of rattly to begin with, and without the rumbling of an engine, would it be smooth enough? Would it be good enough? Also, we've got enormous power here, and we've got manual brakes. That's not great. The steering is very, very sharp, but the steering wheel is not centered. It's like 45 degrees off to the right, and that's weird. It's kind of a thing that I wouldn't necessarily want in a finished product. And I hear some kind of rotational noise from the back, which had I had an engine, I might not hear that noise, you know? But I don't know if me hearing it is good or not. Not really sure. The manual brakes require a heavy foot, but pretty effective. Let me tighten these down just in case. The fitment of the tires, both at the front and the rear, is a little odd. When I went kind of full lock before pulling out, there's definitely some rub, and I'm smelling a little bit of rubber as well, so we might have some oversized tires that are rubbing here. Oh yeah. Well, I'm getting like actual rub smoke there from the front. That wasn't great. Is that just like full on poor fitment rub? I'm gonna pull over here and just take a check at it, because that just saying, that doesn't seem great. So the tire fitment at the front is quite wrong. It's rubbing while going straight. The front tires are just too wide for the car, frankly. I mean, you could say, oh well, I'm just heavier than the average driver, but the guy who built this thing and owns this personal car, is about my size. So it's not like this is something that couldn't have been known. We don't have a flat, which is good. Let's release the brake here and put it back in D. But it's not hugely confidence inspiring. Now, let's just stomp on the... Well, can you do burnouts? Yes, you can. Absolutely can do burnouts. And these are Nitto NT something high performance tires as well. I will say that with old school Cobras, they feel kind of clunky, right? All of them, they're a little clunky. This one with the EV powertrain, it does feel nice and smooth. Some of that clunkiness is gone, which is impressive. And it's not as rattly as I thought it would be. I was expecting like serious rattling, and we don't have that. The regen does, the motors do not hold it. Gravity will creep it. Bill says that this car has a 400-mile range if you dial the power way down and cruise at 60, or a 250 or so mile range if you dial the power down a bit and then drive normal highway speeds, which I believe, right? Half the weight, roughly, of a Model S with the same amount of power. Now, the aerodynamics are not as good, but it's not horribly unaerodynamic. The programming of the regen is quite nice, actually. It's not too grabby. The fact that this steering wheel is not straight, that to me is not a confidence-inspiring thing. It's attention to detail is what we really need with this kind of stuff. especially for 185,000. That's a lack of attention to detail that I think would, I mean, it bugs me now, and I haven't spent money. I assume if you bought one, oh wow, you can. I don't know if you could see it in the overhead camera, but if I brake and turn right at the same time, and it loads up that tire, you do get tire smoke. Watch here, ready? Yeah, I mean that might actually cut that tire. Hopefully wouldn't have a blowout. There's a little, oh wow. That's, okay. So, doesn't make me feel super confident when that kind of thing is happening. The idea of this thing is good. And I kind of get it when people are like, okay, vintage, you know, oh, there we go. Vintage looks, modern power, better for sitting in traffic and cruising. The guy who built this is admittedly a Tesla enthusiast and wanted to combine the two, and from a power standpoint, it's fast. From a power delivery standpoint, it's smooth and easy to control, easy to modulate. You could have it on full power and it doesn't feel like it's going to get away from you. And from a build quality standpoint, there are a lot less squeaks and rattles and stuff like that than I expected. But that tire fitment is really awful. And that kind of sketches me out. It happens both when I hit the brakes and when I turn right. That's not good. Steering wheel not being on straight, also not so good. And although this is the first one, the edging around this screen is pretty chintzy. And it doesn't necessarily make me feel like I've spent $185,000 for a quality product. So apparently he's sold 5 of these and has delivered more than just this one. So I think if he's trying to keep the volume low, well, it goes way quicker than it stops. I mean, that wave of torque is very fun. And the fact that I don't need my left foot to operate the clutch means that I'm slightly more comfortable because I don't have to crane my foot up. But I really think they're going to have to work on the attention to detail in order to make this something that people are going to feel very comfortable spending money on. But should you have an EV sports car? I don't know. It's not what I would want out of a sports car. I'd want the engine, I'd want the noise, I'd want to engage with it a little more. I think EV classic cars are better served with luxury cars, cruisers, stuff like that, than they are with sports cars. But if the idea seems appealing to you, I get it. I do get it. It's the torque is there, and the smoothness is there, and the NVH is there. I just think we need to work on the attention to detail on this particular car. So thank you to Scorpion EV for letting me have a go. Thanks to you guys for watching, and I will see you later.
And remember, always fight your tickets. Use code TST10 on the Off the Record app available in the Android and iOS store, or go to offtherecord.com/TST.